Helen Dobson, welcome to the Family Business Show.
Hiya.
Hello. I've known your family business for quite some time now, and I thought it just makes such a wonderful story for other family businesses to hear about. So I'm delighted to have you. Why don't you tell the audience exactly what your family business Dobsons does, who you are, and how it all got started?
Yeah, so basically, Dobsons was started in 1935 by my great grandfather. And at that time, it was more of a general builders. We had a yard. We're still on the same premises that we were in 1935, but it was more of a builder's yard. And then over the years, it developed. They carried out a lot of repairs during the war, like building repairs. And then in the sort of early 60s, and with the arrival of the next generation, so Frank Senior's sons, Frank Jr. and Paul, came into the business, and they started doing more joinery and shop fitting and that type of thing. And then gradually, it sort of evolved over the years. And then when my father joined in 1980, he had the vision of turning it into more of a domestic home improvement company. And at that time, the early 80s, double glazing was like the real big thing. So he decided to open on the site a window and door showroom. Still had the joinery workshop and everything in the back, but wanted to open a showroom for the public. And get into that market, and that did really well. It was a really booming time in double glazing, and eventually we stopped making the windows ourselves in the joinery because it got so expensive, and we moved completely into the UPVC market, and did conservatories as well, fascias, that type of thing. And then it got to the 90s, and I think it was when they had quite a bad recession that he actually thought, you know what, I think the double glazing market is going to flatten out here.
Yeah.
We need to kind of look to the next thing, and decided to add kitchens to our portfolio. And which at that time was a German kitchen, and we started doing. And so he started doing kitchens as well, and that led into bedrooms. And then it just really kind of, that side of the business sort of started to take over. And then when I joined the business in 2002, we were doing probably more kitchens and bedrooms than we were double glazing. And then we eventually, during the time I've been there, decided to move into bathrooms as well. So it's kind of left us where we are now, where we've got a large showroom. We've extended the showroom several times over the years, and we've got a large showroom with luxury kitchens and bathrooms, and we still do double glazing as well, but it's not quite such a big part of our business now. But it goes along quite nicely with some of our projects, like our kitchens, for example. We do a lot of kitchens, and then we also do like the bifold doors that go alongside it. So so we're sort of, now we're completely domestic, working in people's homes, and the complete sort of luxury home improvement service, really.
Brilliant. So you are fourth generation.
Yeah.
And obviously you're celebrating is it 85 years this year,
Yeah,
aren't
so yeah, this year's 85 years of the business, so which is obviously a great milestone.
you? Yeah.
We couldn't have too many celebrations this year because of COVID, but we normally have a big sort of open day in our showroom, and make a lot of it. But we've still obviously celebrated it and promoted it to our customers and local press, etc. But just had a slightly smaller celebration with the family.
Well, because I think if anyone's heard the stats about family businesses, you'll know that to get to the second generation is, challenging in itself. To get to the third, and then beyond that to the fourth, is such a massive deal in family businesses, because for one reason or another, stumbling blocks along the way, succession is a really tricky thing in any family business, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So tell us about your journey into the family business, because everyone wants to know how other people did it. How did you get on working with your dad? And tell me about your journey into joining the family business.
Yeah, so I mean, by no means was it ever something that I had envisaged that I was going to do. And I don't think my dad ever envisaged it either, to be honest. You know, he had two girls. I've got an older sister who doesn't work in the business, and you know, I don't think he really ever thought that either of us would be particularly interested in coming into the firm. And I really got into it by chance, because I went to college and studied travel and tourism, and I was working in travel, and I got made redundant because it was around the time of September the 11th, and it was just not a really good time in travel. And I was kind of in between jobs. I was temping, and then my dad said to me, "Oh, you know, we're looking for somebody to work in the showroom, just kind of answering the phones and, you know, a bit of admin work, etc." And I thought, oh well, you know, it was more money than what I was doing getting temping, which was key factor at 19. And you know, I thought I'll go and give it a go and see what it's all about. And you know, I went there, and you know, it's just, I guess once you've joined a family business, it's kind of quite hard to leave. But yeah.
You are.
uh,
And 20 years later, here you
yeah,
are.
exactly. So yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it was good. You know, I joined it, and I didn't actually, my parents are divorced, and I wasn't actually living with my dad. So I hadn't lived with him since I was about 10. So it wasn't like the same dynamic maybe as some family businesses. So I wasn't coming home and then living with him as well. You know, so it was quite nice to actually spend a bit more time with him. So yeah, you know, it just kind of developed really, and my role developed in the business. And obviously I moved on from doing, you know, sort of the admin. Vacancy came up, you know, with another part of business, and I took that and just kind of worked my way up. And you know, it was, you know, I enjoyed it because it's something different, you know, working in the family business, you know, though it might not be necessarily like the subject that I'm particularly passionate about, you know, sort of the building aspect of it. But I am obviously passionate about the family side of it and seeing the business do well. And, you know, having that feeling that you're working for yourself, you know, and, you know, it's just, it's not something you're going to get somewhere else, and you know, experience. So you know, and I enjoy the aspects of the work that I do. You know, I enjoy doing, you know, like promoting the business, and you know, the sort of behind the scenes kinds of things really that I do.
Yeah.
Although I have worked selling kitchens, and I have worked project managing the installations. Over the years, I've done pretty much everything, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's been really varied as well. And I think that's the thing as well. Working in a small business, you do all different types of roles, you know, not just your own particular thing you're employed to do. So it is very varied. It doesn't get boring. And you've got that, obviously, that family element, that passion that you can't really, you know, buy. You know, you can't produce that. It's just there. So
No, I don't think anyone would ever say being in a family business is boring.
no.
Colourful.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us, what does the business look like now? So the number of people you employ, your turnover, where are you in the world?
Yeah, so we employ around 14 people at the moment. Our turnover is just below 2 million. And like I say, the majority of what we do is kitchens and bathrooms. And that's sort of fully fitted installations. We've got our own employed installation staff, and you know, we do, you know, sort of varies from big projects to kind of just a bit of a refurb. You know, all different types of work. And like I say, we also got the double glazing side. We still do, you know, a fair amount of work on that.
Yeah.
And also we do like sort of glazed extensions, so it's sort of like a newer version of a conservatory, which is more brick built. So that obviously, well, again, combines well with our kitchens. So yeah, and then obviously in terms of the staff, so it's the fourth. My dad retired about 5-6 years ago now. So it's now myself, my husband, who actually has worked in the business longer than me, and we met in the business. And he's the other director, and also there's a third director who is related by marriage to the family. and then obviously we've got our other staff, and a lot of them have been with us a very long time as well, so they're like family to us.
Brilliant. So when you say your dad's retired, does that mean retired?
Yeah, no, that's one thing our family's been really, really good at, actually, is every generation, like, so I never knew my great granddad, but my granddad, when he left the business, that was it. He completely left, you know, he didn't have anything more to do with it. And my dad's is exactly the same, you know. And obviously I worked with my dad for about 15 years prior to him retiring, so obviously I think he felt, and obviously my husband and Matthew as well, so I think he felt, you know, that we were, and he'd gradually stepped back a bit, he'd sort of reduced his hours over the last few years. He, you know, I think he felt that he could leave, but he's sort of now at the stage, and my granddad was the same, they never like to ask, they never ask me how the business is doing. They are of the kind of, you know, vein of like, I will, you know, I know that they're incredibly interested, and they worry still a lot about the business, but they're very good at kind of taking a step back, and, you know, if I want to talk to him about the business I can, but yeah, he doesn't, you know, sort of, you know, bring up too much. But I'll get the odd comment, like if we change something, you know, he'll be like, oh, you know, do you think that really needed to be changed then, you know? So, you know, he obviously, it's still on his radar, and he's still sort of, you know, thinking, you know, about the business, but they are very, very good at kind of giving us our space. So we're lucky on that respect.
So you know, your dad retired, and the three of you, the three directors, now looking forward to the future. What did you want to achieve now that you were the next generation at the helm?
I think we've already, since my dad left, we've done another major showroom refurb, and we've taken it up another notch basically. So we were doing kind of still higher end kitchens, but now we're doing sort of real bespoke handmade kitchens, and we've made the showroom, you know, even more luxurious, even more higher end. And more kind of, you know, fashionable, I suppose, you know. So we've kind of made our stamp on the showroom, we've improved that a lot, and, you know, it's probably moving into a slightly different market of customer as well, but I think, you know, we really just, you know, for us, want to make a success of it, because, you know, we're you know, the fourth generation now, the other three have made a good job, and you know, I think I'm just constantly looking at, like, right, what can we do to be better? And I think that's what you have to do. Like, we never think, oh well, we've been here all this time, we must be doing something right, you know, let's just carry on doing what we're doing. Like, I'm always thinking all the time, what could we be doing better? What's the next sort of improvement? What could we be offering our customers? How can we be different to the competitors? You know, so that's kind of, you know, I think our focus really.
So your particular strength really is in sort of the marketing and the PR of the business. So have you got any advice to family business out there, particularly at the moment where marketing might have taken a bit of a back burner because of the pandemic? In your experience of doing all that for your family business, what have been your biggest wins or the easiest things another family business can do?
I think actually we've gone back to basics a bit, because everything's online, everything's, you know, this, that and the other nowadays, but we've actually found that sort of doing like door drops, like, you know, like leaflet cards, we'd sort of turned our nose up at it probably 5 years ago. Oh no, I don't want to do that, it's a bit naff, you know, but we've actually started doing that again, and that's really worked well for us, and that's quite a cheap thing to do as well, like compared to some other forms of advertising, you know, especially like if we're working in an area and putting some cards through the door, you know, where we're working, or even just in target areas, you know, we're finding that that's been quite successful for us. But I mean, you know, in terms of marketing, I'm a big one for monitoring it and seeing what's actually working. So you must record where your leads are coming from. That's a definite. I've tried lots of different things, especially in the last couple of years. You know, I've tried actually doing some more networking and that type of thing, even though we're not business to business. Try to get out there a little bit more in the community and meet people that way, and develop a personal sort of relationship and a face of the business, and that's been quite successful for us. Obviously online is still massive for us, but I would say that, you know, my experience of, you know, it's very scary spending money on online things, because unless you're getting real results about, you know, or real, if someone's giving you the report of figures of what actually is happening, you can just feel like you're throwing money away at nothing. So I would say get a good firm that you can trust to do it for you, and that are going to be giving you monthly or weekly figures of how much extra traffic's coming to your website, what results they're actually getting for you, because otherwise, you know, you don't really know. And that's the worst thing with advertising marketing, that you don't really, sometimes you don't know what's working and you don't know what to spend the money on. But I think, you know, you get a good feel, and you've got to try a few things, and see what works. But I mean, they say that doing a bit of everything really is the best thing. But I think if money is, and the budget is an issue, just kind of stick to the core things that you know are the best things for your type of business. And like I say, if it depends on what type of business you are, if you can do sort of mail outs, whether to the direct to your customer base or through people's doors, I still think that having something tangible in your hand is still better than in bombarding people's inboxes with things, because I know I don't open half of my emails. So yeah.
Great advice, thank you. Okay, so let's talk about, you know, the elephant in the room here, which is the COVID pandemic. So as a bricks and mortar showroom, obviously that would have affected you quite severely in the early days. How has it been for you? What actually happened in the business, and how do you feel about now the future going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were initially quite scared, you know, because we've not had anything like this before, you know, so we didn't really know what to expect, how badly it would affect us. We obviously had to shut the showroom. We had to learn to do a few more things online, like presentations of kitchens and things to customers virtually. And you know, we did furlough a lot of our staff, because although we were in a little bit of a grey area, because construction could carry on, we didn't feel it was necessarily the right thing to do with our customers. A lot of them are older, our customers as well, to be working in their homes. So we furloughed our fitting staff for this sort of initial period, and we had to keep, you know, it was mainly just the 3 directors that was kind of just keeping abreast of things. But then we quickly realised there was actually still quite a big demand. So we had to bring our salespeople back pretty early on, really, from furlough, because people were sitting at home and actually thinking, oh, well, we could really do with getting on with the new kitchen, bathroom, XYZ. Which, you know, it surprised me really, because I thought people would be worrying, you know, about money and all sorts of things. But I think because, like I say, a lot of our customers are older and maybe retired, they weren't so worried about that, or people were thinking, oh, actually we've got the time on our hands now to actually sort this out, let's get on with it. So yeah, it was actually quite busy, and still has been fairly busy. You know, it's had an impact because we were closed for that period of time, so obviously sales are down on what they were last year. But I don't think it's been that detrimental to us so far. But then I'm cautious of going forward how it can be as well, because our work can be a bit up and down depending on time of year as well. So, but yeah, so far it's not been too bad. We've got everybody back at work now, you know, have been for a while. We've still pretty fully booked, you know, almost up to Christmas with kind of, you know, installs. Supply is a little bit of an issue, getting hold of staff. You know, all of our suppliers are on a longer lead time, so that's a bit of an issue. But yeah, it's been okay. I think it's, you know, a lot of people are not going on holiday and spending money on their homes instead. So I think out of all the industries to be in, ours isn't like too terrible at the moment. But everybody's going to be affected to some respect, especially as if we stay in like recession. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on everything, expenses, everything, just running a tight ship really, and kind of hoping that things stay as they have been for us, and stay we're still getting a healthy level of interest at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's really great to hear, to see a business that hasn't been too severely impacted. Yeah, you're right, all those people sat at home thinking, oh, our kitchen's looking a bit tired.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I've been staring at it for 6 months. So you're now working with your husband, so there's a whole other dynamic to a family business. But obviously that seems to be going really well. So do you, the two of you, have big plans for the business, or how do you feel you're going to make your mark as the fourth generation? What are your plans?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, like I said earlier, we just want to kind of continue to be the best, and to offer the best level of service for our customers. We'd obviously like to grow the business if we can, and that's our goal, is to grow our turnover, grow our profits, and diversify. What we're not doing at the moment is working with any kind of architects or property developers. We're only working with sort of domestic customers, so that could be another avenue for us that we're kind of looking into. And yeah, I think just to keep the good name of the business, and to make sure that we always do our best possible job for people. That's always been our aim. I'm lucky that my husband, like I said, he's worked there even longer than me. He joined as an apprentice at 16.
Wow.
So, and without kind of he's not been forced into things.
Yeah.
So without even without sort of even whether we were married or not, he's always really believed in the ethos of the business.
Yeah.
He's really committed to what we believe in as a family, of doing a great job and great service. So yeah, I think it's just I feel excited, I feel positive about the future, and looking forward to what might be for our generation, and what new things we might do. And I think at the moment, we've just, like I said, we've done a lot of work in the show, but we've just been finding our feet, because I think you have a big, when one generation leaves and another one starts, is kind of a process really of kind of finding your feet, and and starting again, really.
Absolutely. And I can hear Generation 5 in the background.
Yeah, sorry. I knew they were going to appear at some point. Yeah.
Totally fine. It's family business, what it's all about, isn't it? Okay, so I will let you get to them. So one last shameless plug for Dobsons, Helen. So, our audience are other family businesses who just want to help each other. So, what can we do for you? So obviously, if you're looking for a new bedroom or bathroom or kitchen, come and see you, give you a call.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously, we work, relatively speaking, in our local area, but we have travelled further afield. But yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, we're high quality kitchens, bathrooms, glazing. But obviously, again, we're looking for developers, architects, those types of contacts to work with as well. And and also good suppliers as well. So if there's other businesses out there that think they could be a good supplier for us, then that's always good as well. So we have a huge amount of suppliers for all the components for kitchens, bathrooms, and double glazing. So I'm sure some of the other family business members must be able to help in some of those aspects. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Congratulations on your 85-year anniversary. Well, not your 85 year, but the business's 85-year anniversary. And I'm so pleased to hear that it's not been so devastating for you as it has been for so many businesses. So keep on trucking. You're doing brilliantly. And thank you so much for being on the Family Business Show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Helen.
Okay.